Hello and welcome back to Life According to Dana. Just wanted to take some time just to give you a couple words of encouragement to just uplift your day, possibly. There is a lot that happens to people during the holiday season. And of course, some people have peaceful times, some people have times that are just completely flipped upside down. I know a lot of people that have suffered loss in the recent weeks, and I just want to encourage them as well and just say that just don't forget God is in control. God sees us where we are. God knows everything that's occurring in our lives. And I just want you to put your confidence and your trust in God. I have had a remarkable year. The blessings of the Lord have been so abundant that at times it almost felt overwhelming, just the amount of blessings that came into my life. And they happened in such a rapid sequence that it was actually mind boggling to me from time to time. I am just so grateful. And I just wanted to take a moment just to record this and just let it be part of your day and maybe encourage you a little bit about when God makes a promise, he is faithful to bring it to pass. I have seen God do some things this year that just staggered me. I'm going to start with back in the summer. We did something different this year for Dana Brown Ministries. And for those of you that don't know, I am the president and founder of Dana Brown Ministries, which is a 501c3. And we bridge the gap between the need and the resources to bring the solution. So that could cover a lot of things, and it really does. But this summer, we embarked on a new project. We did a lunch program for 7 weeks. What I thought was going to be maybe at most 150 lunches twice a week turned more into like 300 lunches twice a week. And in a 7 week span, we ended up providing 3,662 lunches over 7 weeks. Now, mind you, this is something that I did from my home. I prepared every last one of those lunches. My son in the beginning helped me, but as it grew and expanded, it kind of fell to me. But I kept feeling like it was a test. I made a promise, I made a commitment to meet these people in their place of need. And I'm going to just tell you, from the very beginning, it was a challenge. I went to the city of Buffalo. I wanted to do this in a park. I just wanted to hand out the lunches. First, they told me I didn't need a permit. And then maybe like a week before this was supposed to take place, they switched up on me, told me I needed a permit. I had to pay for garbage cans. I had to pay for recycling bins. Long story short, they added about $300 a week to my budget that I just did not have. So I said, okay, God, I'm going to just kind of scooch up here. I need a pivot. I need a solution to this because this is not working the way I planned. Let me just encourage you. God's pivots are better than your best laid plans. I mean, when God responded to my request, he said, you could deliver the lunches just like you have in the past for Christmas and Thanksgiving. Now, mind you, when God gave me the pivot, I was not anticipating the amount of increase that we were about to experience. But I'm really taking a moment to explain this in detail because some of you have visions and you have dreams that you have before the Lord, and you're not sure about how all the pieces are going to fall into place or how this is going to manifest, and you're worried about this and you're worried about that. But I am here as a living witness that when God gives you something to do, he will supply the resources. So I entered into this in faith, and my goodness, how God blew my mind. 7 weeks later, with the pivot, he started sending people to volunteer to deliver the food. Though I was making the food at home, I had the stamina, I had the resources, I had everything that I needed to accomplish this. This thing that was almost twice as big as I thought it was going to be, but nonetheless, God provided everything I needed. And I was just so amazed at how people started donating money, people started donating their time. And I was just floored by this whole thing. And I used to just take breaks sometime and just sit in the middle of this, in the middle of doing what God had showed me. I was just awestruck at what was happening. And I'm going to tell you, sometimes God will tell you to do things and you'll find yourself in the middle of doing them and just be like, you know what, I can't even believe this is happening this way. But just be encouraged and know that He's going to complete whatever He started. So we get to the end of 7 weeks, and lo and behold, 3,662 lunches later, I'm sitting there going, on the last day that we were about to do deliveries, I said, I cannot believe that I have been cooking 34 pounds of pasta once a week for the last 7 weeks. And I have been making almost 300 sandwiches every week for 7 weeks. Okay. I never in my wildest dreams imagined that this was going to get quite this big, but God is so faithful, you all. And even though it may look like it is completely out of your sphere of knowledge or your control or your just thought process, He will bring it to pass. Finished that on Friday. Saturday came, went picked up 250 backpacks, delivered 50. The next day at the church, I just handed off 50 to someone else we were blessing. Sunday afternoon, we were standing on a side street in South Buffalo handing out 200 backpacks in less than 3 hours. Listen, it rained all morning long, but I have seen God work where if He gives me something to do, it may rain up to the second that I was supposed to do it. And I have seen Him stop the rain faithfully over the years. Same happened this particular Sunday. Rained all morning long. We just out there blowing up balloons, just going, it's gonna stop. We're not worried. And sure enough, it stopped raining. And as a matter of fact, it got so hot, I kind of got a little sunburn. But to God be the glory, we got that done too. Skip forward a few months, and now we're preparing for Thanksgiving dinners. And I'm sitting here and I said, we cannot advertise this, because based on what we experienced over the summer, if we had advertised this, I'm thinking in my mind, this would be completely out of control. Well, in my mind, once again, people, my mind, I'm thinking, we did 175 dinners last year. So we might double this, because this was during the time when the food stamps dried up and everything else went wacky economically in the United States. So I said, okay, so we might press it to 350. Well, once again, God blew my little expectations up, and it was like, oh my God. So we prepared to not advertise this, and we didn't. We reached out to some of the people that we had provided lunches for over the summer, and okay. So we ended up preparing 500 meals, and we also ended up providing 600 servings of dressing. So we ended up impacting 1,100 people plus lives at Thanksgiving. We went from 175 to 500 prepared meals. And then plus, we were able to provide 600 servings of dressing to one of the area's Salvation Armies. So, okay. So expectations. So we have all these expectations, and we just think things are going to go this way and we're going to go this way. Listen, get God out of the box. Take Him promptly out of whatever your expectation in your little finite mind might be, because God is going to blow it out of the water. So here I am once again going, this is larger than I can do in my home. All of a sudden, you all, my ministry had gotten larger than I had the capacity to provide for. So, okay, now I saw God do the pivot, right? Give me the pivot in the summer. So I had something to stand upon. I had seen him work. I've seen him work over my life so many times. So here we go. Next project. So now I'm doing the math and I'm like, I'm probably going to need 20 plus turkeys. I am talking 20-pound turkeys plus. So I said, okay, now I know I cooked 16 turkey breasts last year, but now I need to do full turkeys because that's going to be ridiculous. So what's the pivot now, God? Yeah, I'm talking a lot about pivots, right? Because your best laid plan, again, it holds nothing in comparison to what God's plan really is in the situation. So here I go. Okay, I ended up with 22 turkeys. Really 23, but I'm not going to talk about that 23rd turkey. So 22 turkeys. What do we do with this? So I reached out to my church, Revive Wesleyan out in Hamburg. Lord bless you. Thank you. I reached out and I said, I need help. This was okay. This was so not like me to have to ask for help. I had always kept my ministry in a place, unbeknownst really to me, where I could control it. Oh, I know I am preaching to people right now where I could control it, where any outside thing that came, I could fix it. It was within my control. Well, this time it was not. See, I prayed one of those really wonderful prayers where I asked God for more. I saw such a great need in my city, in my community, that it was really starting to break my heart. I mean, it was keeping me up at night. It was bothering me to the point of just making me almost feel nervous sometimes. And I said, God, I want to be able to do more. Now, I prayed this prayer after the 3,662 lunches. I was just having a heart to heart with God. And I said, God, I just see so much need. I want to do more. And it was just like, it was one of the most sincere conversations that I believe I've had with God in a minute. And I just said, God, I want to do more. So here comes the more. So now I'm facing 22 turkeys and trying to figure out what's the plan. So I began to look around me and I realized that God had really positioned me in a place that everything I needed was right there. So now I have to connect the dots. Now I have to put things in motion. Now I have to take advantage of the things that God has been bringing into my life because I just like found myself in a place that I had everything that I needed. I had a commercial kitchen at my disposal. I had people all of a sudden, it just felt like they came from nowhere. When I tell you this whole story, man, listen, when I tell you that God will give you what you need to accomplish in your life, the things that he is showing you, the things that he is telling you to do, he is a faithful father. So now I need to cook 22 turkeys. And I'm sitting there going, okay, I need to just talk to a couple people. So I did. They were right around me. My sister-in-law, she is a retired chef who is used to doing things in volume like this. I had another resource who I cannot mention their name because I was just told never to do that. But they helped me. They gave me access to what I needed. And I said, okay, Lord, so here we go. One of the ladies at the church, she was like, "Oh, I'm going to reach out to the staff and we're going to see who will come alongside you and volunteer." Okay, so by the end of this project, I had between 50 and 60 people. Anybody that has worked in ministry more than 2 minutes knows that that is ridiculous. I had 50 to 60 volunteers helping me. People came, volunteered their time. They were packaging up cranberry sauce. They were packaging up fruit cocktail. They were helping with stuffing. They were helping with turkeys. They were helping with green beans. And I mean, we just had this mass production going on. And if you get a chance, go to danabrownministries.org and just look at the pictures of what God did, because it was so not me. All I did was follow the instruction and watch God work. This whole time I'm fighting with a sinus infection, but God kept giving me the energy and the strength to accomplish the thing that He had showed me to do. And so, in the middle of this, I'm sitting there and I'm watching all these things manifest and all these moving parts just coming together, and people were just popping in, just doing little projects, and it was so much joy. People were laughing, the music was going, the worship was going, and everything was so blessed. And in the middle of all this beautiful occurrence, God said, "Listen, now I gotta speak a word of correction over your life." I was like, "What I do now, Jesus?" And the Lord said, "By you trying to keep this under your control and keeping it small, you were actually blocking my children from the opportunity to be blessed by serving me." Oh, I don't know how God talks to you, but every once in a while, He comes along, and I promise you, it just feels like He breaks my face and puts it back together again. He told me I was blocking His kids from being blessed. I felt about this big. I said, "My goodness." I said, "Lord, I am so sorry. I had never looked at it from that perspective, that by me trying to keep that control and keep it at a place where I knew everything, where I knew what I could do, or I felt like I knew what I could do, that I was actually blocking other people from having the opportunity to serve." Oh my goodness. I felt so bad. In the midst of all of this, God was correcting me. I repented. I did. I was so godly sorry. And I said, "Lord, I am so sorry." And so it was like, once He got that straight in me, the amount of people that came was staggering. I had 30 plus people show up to deliver those meals, to the point that no one had more than 6 houses to deliver. I did it by zip code. He gave me a strategy even on how to deliver everything in an orderly way, which he had perfected in me over the summer with those lunches. So understand the process, people. I guess is what I'm trying to say. That He's always building. He's always building you up for the next task. He's always pushing the limits, but understand they're not your limits, they're His limits, and He is limitless. So stop trying to control the narrative. Let God be God. Let Him be Lord. Let Him be the sovereign God that He is. Trust me, He can do this so much better than you can. So now we're out delivering this stuff and just watching God just manifest. And I am like so undone and so overwhelmed by everything that was happening. So Thanksgiving Day, I'm at the hospital getting my antibiotics for my sinus infection, and still just bawling and crying at what God had just did. Can I just share this with you too? 6 people gave their lives to Christ while we were out doing deliveries. People were prayed for healing. The power of God was so present. Listen, you would never think that doing a Thanksgiving dinner would lead people to Christ, but let me just be the witness to tell you that's how that went down. And I just wanted to take a moment and glorify God, because listen, I say this all the time, but I just want you to hear the proof with your ears and to see it, that when God tells you to do something, understand that you have all of heaven moving on your behalf, that you have the angels of the Lord moving and shifting things on your behalf to bring the resources that you need, that you're going to be able to accomplish everything that God has spoken over your life. Don't worry about what you don't have. Don't worry what this looks like to you or how you think it should play out. Just trust God with the outcome. I have seen him work so marvelously, so beautifully. And then the opportunity for his other kids to be blessed by serving him, that in itself was just wonderful. I had posed the question to God, am I doing the right thing? Am I moving according to my purpose in the kingdom? And this is how God responded, and this is how he answered me, that 1,100 people's lives were impacted by me saying yes and getting out of the way and letting God have his way in my life. Get out the way and let God have his way in your life. You will be so blessed. You will be so awestruck. You will just see miracles. You will see wonders. You will see everything manifest if you just get out the way. Say yes and then get out the way and just follow God's leading. Let him show you what he's trying to accomplish. I know there is so much more coming. As the months has gone on, even since the dinners, I have seen God do some things, the connections that God brought as a result of just getting out of the way and letting him be God. The setups that came out of this have just been unbelievable. The finances that have come, people started sowing into the ministry as never before. We had an unprecedented year when it came to the gifts that people gave to our ministry. We had an unprecedented year when it came to the number of volunteers that we had to support this ministry. Listen to me, please listen to me. Get out of your own way. Get out of God's way. Let him steer the ship. Let him do it the way he wants to do it. Stop limiting God. Take him out of that proverbial box and let him be God. He is so much bigger than we're allowing him to be. He is so much larger than you could ever think or imagine. I just have had my mind so blown this year that I just want to just really testify of his glory and his majesty, because he is everything to me. And I have seen my Father God show out in ways this year that have just blown me away. And it's just a privilege to just be a little part of this, just to be a little segment of this, and to see how this is blessing people, to see how this is causing people to have hope, to see how this is leading people to our Father, to see how this is just a manifestation of his glory, and that there is so much greater coming. He's bringing people alongside of us that are going to help us even expand to a greater capacity. And I know for a fact, God is not a respecter of person. Listen, I'm going to close with this. I'm going to Zambia next year, and I needed $3,800 for this trip. On the day before I was supposed to have half the money, I said, you know what, God, I'm about $1,000 short of what I need, but I trust you. I trust you. I don't know how you gonna do it. People that told me they were gonna do it are ghosting me now. They not taking my phone calls. And I said, but God, I trust you. So the next day, I remember that night we prayed in Bible study, but the next day, listen, I got a text that said, your trip to Zambia is paid in full. I'm looking for $1,900, $3,800. It was all what they saw. Someone saw when we were doing the Thanksgiving dinners. It inspired them to sow $2,400 to completely pay off my balance. Don't you all sleep on who God is. I just wanted to stop by again to encourage you. This has been my just testimony of the beautiful things that God has done this year. And I know there's so much more coming, and there's more coming for you. You be encouraged. Don't stop dreaming. Don't stop believing. Stand flat footed and declare that God is going to bring to pass every dream and every vision that He's ever spoken over your life. Believe it. I am a witness, and I am walking in the testimony of the glory of God and how much He really wants to manifest in your life. Again, this is Life According to Dana. You take care. Until next time, be blessed. Know that you are loved and you are prayed for. I want to lift you up this morning. I want to bring you into the next place. I want to help you get that fight. I want to help you realize the warriors that you are. I want you to recognize that greater is He that's in you than he that's within the world. That there is a resilience in you. There is a sound within you that God is going to use to shake your communities. There is a sound within you that's going to be the result of that yet praise, that's going to shift your churches. There is a yet praise that's in you that's going to shift your cities. There is a yet praise that's in you that's going to shake up your households. There is a yet praise that's in you that's going to move the mountains and is going to bring them to ruin. There is a yet praise that's in you that's going to release the resources. Listen, when this praise comes out, the angels of the Lord go to work. This is a sound that they recognize because they know it's birthed out of anguish. They know it's birthed out of adversity. They know it's birthed out of struggle. But they also know that it's a signal of your confidence in God. They also know that you're saying yes and amen. They also know that you're saying, God, I trust you. My hope rests in your assurance. Listen, the Lord gave me this word. Chaos always precedes revival. Y'all, we done had the chaos. We done been to the show. I'm sick of it. You probably are too. But I'm grateful because I know what's coming. The revival is coming. And your voice is going to be heard. Your voice is necessary. But you can't be stuck. You have to get that yet praise out of you. You have to release that yet praise that's going to bring the shift.